Tuesday, August 11th, 2020 marks a decade since the death of St. Lucia's Queen of Culture, Dame Marie Sessenne Descartes. The Monsignor Patrick Anthony Folk Research Centre is paying tribute to the cultural maven who helped transform and mainstream St. Lucia folk culture. For those at the vanguard of securing the island's patrimony and culture, the commemoration of the transcendent figure comes at a time of the recent loss of other titans of culture.
We think that we're at a critical point globally with countries and people on such a strong quest of identity, of national identity, and the values that people like Sessenne and Joyce O'Keefe and whatnot, their contribution is in terms of our culture, to our intangible cultural heritage, has to be part of that narrative going forward. For so long, our narrative has been written by historians who are not necessarily even St. Lucian, and it's of a biased orientation. But I think with this occasion, it allows us this opportunity to reflect and recognize the opportunities and the power in the story and the lives of people like Sessenne.
Known for the classic Mamai La Diwai, the melodic voice Sessenne Descartes helped popularize St. Lucia folk music. Director of the FRC, Louise Victor, says it is not only a time for self-introspection, but action on a plan to immortalize the icon with a monument by transforming her fabled home into a museum.
The FRC, more specifically as part of our strategic plan for into the year 2024, is to transform Sessenne's home in Passius into a folk museum. Hopefully that will be something that not only transforms the community, but it could be something that that brings even more value for the surrounding schools in the area. And as you know, Sessenne represented that type of community cohesion among various institutions in the community, whether it was the school, whether it was the church, whether it was mothers and fathers groups, whether it was flowers groups.
Victor concedes that the pandemic, which curtails in-person gatherings, have altered plans to commemorate the passing of the giant. But efforts are underway to maintain the historical authenticity of body of the work exponents of culture, like Sessenne, for posterity.
There were some very strategic alignments, some strategic stakeholders that we had been engaged with that would have helped us retell Sessenne's story in a different way, in a way that we hadn't seen. We are still hoping to do that for 2021. So for now, I won't let too much out of the bag in that regard, but it would have been a very, very modern and refreshing approach, yet maintaining all of the values of what Sessenne is, or not just what she was, because her legacy lives on. There are still some planned initiatives on a very small scale that will happen for the remainder of the year at the space in Lapwet. And again, it's also a matter of, there are some other stakeholders nationally that we are engaging, and we will be releasing what those partnerships look like in the coming months.
Sessenne's hometown of Passias, Montrepos, played host to the FRC's first mass Journée Creole event, where she was aptly crowned St. Lucia's Queen of Culture in St. Lucia in 1984. The institution would name premier events for Creole Heritage Month in her honor, such as Dame Marie Sessenne Descartes Lawen Creole. In 2000, Marie Sessenne Descartes was awarded the honor of Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, DBE, for folk culture and community service. Golby DeVoe, HDS News Force.